It all began on a quiet, muggy night in June, the air heavy with humidity and the faint buzzing of insects. My name is James, and at the time, I was working as an archivist at a small historical society in rural Pennsylvania. The job was mundane, comforting even, until I stumbled upon a faded, leather-bound diary hidden deep within our archives. The diary belonged to Samuel Cartwright, a modest farmer from the early 1900s. I had never heard of him, nor had anyone else I asked. Curious, I began to read through its brittle pages, deciphering the cramped handwriting under the dim glow of my desk lamp. The entries started normally enough, records of crops, weather patterns, and family matters. However, as days passed, the entries turned increasingly erratic, detailing disturbing occurrences that Samuel experienced in his remote farmhouse. Samuel described hearing strange, dragging noises late at night, whispers in a language he couldn't understand, and shadowy figures lurking at the edges of his vision. Initially dismissing these as mere hallucinations due to exhaustion, Samuel's skepticism eroded as the phenomena intensified. Animals began disappearing, only to reappear grotesquely mutilated, their remains strewn across his fields. Unable to shake my own morbid curiosity, I decided to visit Samuel's old farmhouse, which still stood abandoned on the outskirts of town. It was late afternoon when I arrived, the sun casting a golden, deceptive glow over the decrepit structure. The windows were shattered, ivy crawled over the walls, and an oppressive silence hung in the air. As I stepped inside, the creak of the rotten floorboards echoed like ghostly laughter. Inside, the house seemed trapped in another era, untouched yet clearly decayed by decades of neglect. The walls bore faded floral wallpaper, now peeling in large strips. Dust lay thickly over old furniture, and rusted farm tools were scattered haphazardly. Then I heard it, the faint, unmistakable sound of dragging, just as Samuel had described. My heart pounded, logic begging me to leave, but something compelled me forward. I moved cautiously toward the cellar door, the apparent source of the noise, and pulled it open with a groan that filled the silence. Descending into the cellar, a chill enveloped me, despite the stifling heat above. The air smelled of mold and decay, tinged with something metallic. My flashlight beam illuminated damp stone walls covered in strange markings, symbols that twisted and danced under the weak light. At the center of the cellar stood a stone altar, ancient and stained dark. My mind raced to rationalize what I saw, but dread was gnawing at the edge of my consciousness. Then, suddenly, a whisper echoed softly, indistinct yet disturbingly close. Spinning around, I caught a fleeting shadow, darting past the corner of my eye. Adrenaline surged through me, my breathing quickened. I felt watched, hunted. I stumbled backward, tripping over something hidden in the shadows, a tattered canvas sack. Against every instinct screaming at me, I knelt to open it. Inside were yellowed bones, clearly human, aged yet disturbingly preserved. My stomach churned violently as I recognized marks indicative of ritualistic sacrifice, identical to those described in Samuel's increasingly frantic diary entries. Realizing the danger, I bolted toward the stairs, but the cellar door slammed shut with impossible force, plunging me into darkness. Panicking, I hammered against the door, screaming until my voice cracked. The whispers returned, louder, insidious, mocking my terror. Suddenly, everything stopped. Silence returned, thick and suffocating. Slowly, the door creaked open on its own. Desperate and shaken, I scrambled upstairs, running blindly from the house. Gasping in the evening air, I felt relief mixed with confusion. Had it all been my imagination? Weeks passed, and though I desperately sought rational explanations, psychological stress, fear-induced hallucinations, I knew the truth. Deep down, I understood that I had encountered something ancient, something evil, awakened by Samuel's curiosity decades ago, and briefly stirred again by mine. I resigned from my position at the Historical Society, unable to face the archives, to face the lingering dread. Samuel Cartwright's diary was sealed away, its haunting truth hidden from curious eyes. Yet even now, years later, in the quiet moments when shadows stretch long and darkness creeps closer, I hear faint whispers carried on the wind, and I wonder what else still lurks, waiting patiently beneath that forgotten farmhouse.